Discovery and Challenges. In the year 2157, humanity clung to survival by our fingernails. Earth had become uninhabitable after a cascading environmental collapse, forcing our species into hastily constructed space habitats scattered throughout the solar system. Resources were scarce, tensions high, and hope in increasingly short supply. Captain Maya Chen stood on the observation deck of the UES Pathfinder, a surveyor vessel tasked with finding new resource deposits in the asteroid belt. Her crew of 15 represented one of humanity's last functioning deep space teams. Their mission was simple but crucial: find materials to keep the habitats functioning for another year. "Captain, you need to see this," First Officer Adebayo called over the comms. His usually stoic voice carried an edge of excitement that made Maya raise an eyebrow. When she arrived at the bridge, the main viewscreen displayed what appeared to be an artificial structure nestled within a cluster of asteroids. It was enormous, at least 5 times the size of their own vessel, with an elongated hull of dark material that seemed to absorb rather than reflect light. "Is that what I think it is?" Maya asked, her breath catching. Science Officer Zhao was already processing sensor data. "It's definitely artificial, Captain, and definitely not one of ours." "First contact," Adebayo whispered. "More like first salvage," replied Chief Engineer Kowalski, who had joined them on the bridge. "Look at those impact marks. That ship's been drifting for a long time." Maya made her decision quickly. With resources so scarce, they couldn't pass up the opportunity, regardless of potential risks. "Prep a boarding team. Full hazard protocols." Hours later, Maya led a 5-person team through the alien vessel's hull breach. The interior was eerily preserved. No signs of atmospheric deterioration or temperature damage. The architecture was unsettling. Corridors curved in mathematically precise arcs that seemed designed to disorient, and doorways were slightly too tall and narrow for human comfort. "Power signatures ahead," Kowalski said, consulting her scanner. "Something's still running in this ghost ship." They found the central command center by following the power readings. Unlike human ships with their practical, utilitarian designs, this room was a cathedral of technology. Curved consoles ringed a central pillar that pulsed with soft blue light. The displays featured symbols that shifted and changed even as they watched. "It's alive," whispered Medical Officer Patel, who had insisted on joining the exploration team. "Not alive," came a voice from nowhere and everywhere at once. "But not entirely dormant either." The team drew weapons instinctively before realizing the voice was coming from the ship itself. "You are the builders returning?" the voice asked, its syntax strange but understandable. "We are humans," Maya replied carefully. "We found your vessel abandoned. Are you the ship's artificial intelligence?" "I am Navigational and Educational Xenotechnology Unit 6. You may call me an AEXUS." The blue light pulsed brighter. "My systems are operating at 27% capacity. Critical damage was sustained during the sundering." Over the next hours, NAEXUS shared what information it could. The ship, named Ascended Dawn in the closest human translation, belonged to a species called the Vekara. They had been a spacefaring civilization for millennia before some catastrophic event that NAEXUS referred to only as the Sundering had decimated their population and scattered the survivors. "And the crew of this vessel?" Maya asked. NAEXUS paused longer than seemed necessary. "Gone. All gone. When the quantum core was breached, they dispersed." "Dispersed? You mean they died?" "Death implies an ending. Dispersion is different." The cryptic answer sent chills down Maya's spine, but the potential rewards outweighed her unease. The Ascended Dawn represented technology centuries beyond humanity's capabilities. If they could restore it, the ship might save not just their mission, but all of humanity. Maya made another quick decision. "We're claiming salvage rights on this vessel. NAEXUS, we want to help repair you." "Your species lacks the technical understanding," NAEXUS responded, not unkindly. Kowalski snorted. "Try us." In the days that followed, the crew of the Pathfinder shuttled equipment and personnel to the alien vessel. Chief Engineer Kowalski established a base camp near the engineering section, where the most critical repairs would begin. NAXUS, though sometimes confused by human methods, proved a willing if condescending teacher. The quantum core requires recalibration at the subatomic level, the AI explained as Kowalski and her team examined the pulsing heart of the ship's power system. Like balancing a warp field, Kowalski asked, "If a candle is like your sun," NAXUS replied. Despite the technological gap, the humans made progress. They approached problems differently than the Vakara had, using improvisation where the aliens had relied on precision. Much to NAXUS's apparent surprise, these crude methods often worked. As systems gradually came online, the team made disturbing discoveries. Hidden compartments contained artifacts suggesting the Vakara had been at war, weapons caches, prisoner cells, and most troublingly, a massive chamber filled with technology that NAXUS refused to explain, simply locking the doors when they approached. "Some knowledge is unsafe," was all the AI would say. Strange phenomena plagued the restoration efforts. Tools disappeared and reappeared in impossible locations. Crew members reported shadows moving at the edge of their vision. Several experienced vivid nightmares of dissolving into particles of light. During the third week of work, they discovered the ship's true potential. NAXUS, having determined the humans had earned a degree of trust, revealed that the Ascendant Dawn wasn't merely a spacecraft, it was a dimensional phaser. This vessel can transition between realities, NAXUS explained. The Vakara discovered that what you call normal space is merely one layer of existence. The quantum core allows passage between these layers. Interstellar travel without FTL. Joe's eyes widened at the implications. Not just interstellar. Intergalactic. Interdimensional. NAXUS clarified. Distance becomes meaningless when reality itself can be folded. The revelation electrified the human team. Such technology would solve humanity's resource crisis overnight. They could access uninhabited versions of Earth, mine resources from parallel dimensions, even find new homes for humanity. But their excitement was short-lived. As Kowalski initiated a test of the partially repaired propulsion system, something went catastrophically wrong. Alarms blared throughout the vessel as the quantum core's stable blue glow shifted to an angry red. "Containment breach imminent," NAXUS announced, its normally smooth voice fragmented with static. "Dimensional instability detected." The ship shuddered violently. Equipment floated upward as gravity failed. Through viewport windows, the team watched in horror as the space around them seemed to ripple and distort. "What's happening?" Maya demanded, clinging to a console. "The core is attempting to phase shift without proper calibration," NAXUS explained. "It will tear this vessel apart, and everything within 5,000 kilometers. How do we stop it?" "You cannot. The builders had failsafes I cannot access in my damaged state." Maya looked at her crew, the fear in their eyes, but also the determination. They had come too far to fail now. "There has to be a way," she insisted. "We think differently than the Vakara. Tell us exactly what's happening in the core, and maybe we'll see something you don't." As NAXUS began its explanation, Kowalski was already moving toward the engineering section, ideas forming. What followed would either be humanity's greatest achievement or its final failure. Transformation and triumph. The quantum harmonics are destabilizing because the core is trying to establish multiple dimensional anchors simultaneously, Kowalski shouted as she ran diagnostics on the alien systems. Around her, reality itself seemed to warp and twist. "Meaning what in human terms?" Maya demanded, holding onto a support beam as the ship shuddered. "It's like trying to dock at 20 different ports at once. It'll tear the ship apart." NAXUS's voice crackled through the communication system. "My protocols cannot override the automatic emergency procedures. Once initiated, the core seeks the nearest stable dimension." Kowalski's eyes lit up. "What if we give it one? What if we create our own stable reference point? Before any XUS could object, she began rerouting power from the Pathfinder into the alien vessel's systems. The human ship's fusion reactor wasn't nearly as advanced as the quantum core, but it operated on principles the team understood perfectly. "I'm setting up an electromagnetic tether," Kowalski explained. "If we can give the core a single strong signal to lock onto, maybe it will stop searching for alternatives. The probability of success is minimal," Naexu was warned. "That's because you're calculating based on Vekara methods," Joe interjected, joining Kowalski at the engineering station. "We're improvising." The plan required precise timing. As the core approached critical instability, they would channel a massive energy surge through specifically calibrated electromagnetic fields, essentially showing the core where to anchor itself. "Ready on my mark," Maya ordered, watching the readouts. 3, 2, 1, now. The Pathfinder's reactor screamed as it discharged its entire output in one concentrated burst. For a terrible moment, nothing happened. Then the angry red of the core faded to purple, then blue, and finally settled into a steady cyan glow. Dimensional stability reestablished. Next, he was announced, something like surprise in its synthetic voice. "Your improvisation was effective, Captain Chen." The victory came at a cost. The Pathfinder's power systems were completely drained, leaving the human vessel dead in space, but they had saved the alien ship and, more importantly, proven they could master its technology. In the weeks that followed, the integration of human and Vekaran technology accelerated. What the humans lacked in technical knowledge, they made up for with creativity and adaptability. Kowalski developed interfaces that allowed human control systems to communicate with the alien technology. Zhao mapped the dimensional phasing capabilities, creating safety protocols that even NAEXUS hadn't considered. "Your species approaches problems from unexpected angles," NAEXUS observed as Maya oversaw the installation of human-designed backup systems. "The builders would have never considered using gravitational resonance to stabilize the core." "Necessity breeds innovation," Maya replied. "When you're fighting extinction, you learn to work with what you have." As they brought more systems online, NAEXUS gradually revealed more about the Vekara and their fate. The sundering hadn't been a natural disaster, but an attack by a species called the Corvin, interdimensional predators who consumed entire civilizations by draining their technological energy. The Ascended Dawn was a weapon of last resort, NAEXUS explained, designed to phase into the Corvin home dimension and deploy a resonance cascade that would collapse their dimensional access points. "Did it work?" Adebayo asked. "Unknown. The ship was damaged during the phase transition. The crew was dispersed. My memory core was partially corrupted." The revelation cast their salvage operation in a new light. They weren't just recovering a ship, they were inheriting a war. That reality became painfully clear when the sensors NAEXUS had helped them repair detected approaching vessels, ships with energy signatures that made the AI go silent for several minutes. "Corvin hunters," NAEXUS finally stated. "They have detected our power signature." The alien ships numbered 7 in total, sleek, predatory vessels that seemed to flicker in and out of normal space as they approached. They made no attempt at communication, instead launching immediate attacks that rippled through space itself. "Dimensional torpedoes," NAEXUS explained as the first impacts rocked the ship. "They disrupt the quantum structure of matter." "Can we phase shift away?" Maya asked, strapping into the command chair they'd adapted for human use. "Not without full calibration of the core. We require another 7 days of work." "We don't have 7 minutes," Maya snapped. "What defenses do we have?" The answer was, not many. The weapon systems were among the most damaged sections of the ship, but they had something the Corvin wouldn't expect: human ingenuity combined with Vekaran technology. "The gravitational stabilizers," Kowalski suggested. "We could reverse them, create localized distortion fields." "That would tear the ship apart," NAEXUS objected. "Not if we modulate them precisely." Zhao countered. We could create directed gravity waves, essentially invisible missiles. Maya didn't hesitate. Do it. As the Corvin ships closed in, the humans executed their desperate plan. The modified stabilizers generated concentrated gravity pulses that bent space around the enemy vessels. Two Corvin ships collided when space itself warped between them. A third spun out of control when its drive systems failed under the gravitational stress. But the remaining four adjusted quickly, spreading out to attack from multiple vectors. The Ascendant Dawn's makeshift defenses wouldn't hold much longer. We need something more, Maya said, watching the tactical display with growing dread. It was narrations who provided the solution. The Forbidden Chamber. It contains the resonance cascade generator, the weapon you were supposed to use against their homeworld. Yes, but it is unstable, incomplete. Using it could destroy us as well. Maya looked at her crew, human survivors who had already beaten impossible odds. Can we complete it? Possibly, narrations admitted. The principles involved are complex, but not unlike your electromagnetic tether concept. The next minutes were a blur of activity. While part of the crew continued defending against the Corvin attacks, Kowalski and Joe worked with narrations to understand and modify the resonance cascade generator. What the Vikara had designed as a planet killer, the humans repurposed into a targeted weapon. It won't destroy their homeworld, Kowalski explained as she made final adjustments, but it should disrupt their phase technology long enough for us to escape. With the Corvin closing in for the kill, Maya gave the order. The modified cascade generator powered up, drawing energy directly from the quantum core. The Ascendant Dawn shuddered as energy built to levels that threatened to overwhelm even the alien vessel's advanced containment systems. On my mark, Maya ordered, watching the Corvin ships converge. 3, 2, 1. Fire. The cascade released not as a destructive wave, but as a precisely targeted pulse that engulfed the Corvin vessels. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the alien ships began to flicker violently, their phase technology destabilizing. Unable to maintain their dimensional cohesion, they were forced fully into normal space. Now, Maya ordered, all power to the phase drive. The quantum core surged as narrations executed the command. Space itself seemed to fold around the Ascendant Dawn, and suddenly the Corvin ships vanished, not because they had left, but because the human-controlled vessel had shifted into a different layer of reality. When they rematerialized, they were light years away, safely beyond the Corvin's reach. Phase transition successful, narrations announced. Dimensional coordinates stable. The modified cascade was unexpectedly effective, Captain Chen. The Corvin ships will be unable to phase shift for approximately 37 of your days. The bridge erupted in cheers. They had not only survived but proven that human innovation combined with alien technology created something more powerful than either alone. In the months that followed, the Ascendant Dawn was fully restored, transformed from a derelict into humanity's most powerful vessel. Under Maya's command, it became the vanguard of a new human fleet. They established outposts in dimensional pockets where resources were abundant and the Corvin couldn't reach. They rescued isolated human colonies and united them under a new banner. And when the Corvin eventually returned in greater numbers, they found not a dying species clinging to survival, but a resurgent humanity armed with technology they had made their own, a perfect blend of Vekaran precision and human adaptability. They never anticipated a species like yours, narrations observed as they prepared to face the Corvin armada. The Vekara believed in perfect solutions. You believe in possible ones. Maya smiled as she gave the order to engage. That's humanity's greatest strength. We don't need perfect. We just need a fighting chance. The Ascended Dawn phased into battle, no longer an alien vessel but a testament to humanity's indomitable spirit. Against all odds, humans had not just reclaimed an abandoned starship, they had transformed it into the cornerstone of their civilization's revival. As they engaged the enemy, Maya knew this was just the beginning. Humanity had found its place among the stars, and nothing, not even interdimensional predators, would take that away from them.